The first meeting of the Senate State Local Government Committee is called to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Herron. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Here.
Senator Mills.
Here.
Senator Rawlings.
Here.
Senator Tishner. Vice Chair Elkins.
Present.
Chair Nemes.
Present. Reminders, please remember to silence your cell phones during the meeting. Please remember to turn on your microphone when speaking and when you're making your votes and when you're explaining your vote. First cast your vote and then explain. The first item on the agenda is Senate Bill 10, sponsored by Senator McDaniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Introduce yourself and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Chris McDaniel. I'm the state senator for the 23rd District out of Northern Kentucky. And I think I would probably be remiss if I didn't recognize the fact sitting in front of me here is Joe Zonka, who I believe may have won did you win a Pulitzer Prize for this story, Joe? The newspaper won a Pulitzer Prize, but for good reporting, the issues that we're dealing with today may have never come to light. So I just thought I should mention that. Mr. Chairman, I want to start by reading something today. I want to read some words. From all that has been presented to me, including the sworn testimony of the actual guilty parties, it is evident that Robert Mark Taylor was wrongfully convicted for a murder he did not commit. With the power vested in me as the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I am hereby commuting Mr. Taylor's sentence to time served and granting him the full and unconditional pardon that he has requested. Now, for what crimes was this written, you might ask? I'd encourage all of you to listen to a podcast called Taking Alex. It's a great series, and it gets into a lot of detail that we won't today. But Alex Taylor, a chef at the University of Kentucky, was driven around the town of Lexington, beaten and choked to death with his last gurgling breaths coming in the back seat of a car before his lifeless body was stuffed into a barrel and rolled into the Kentucky River. Mercifully, and for unknown reasons, this single pardon, while granted by the governor, was not filed at the Secretary of State's office, as were so many others. Now, our system of justice is built on the idea that we do not grovel to kings for our freedom. We do not purchase indulgences from a church. We are judged instead by a jury of our peers. Now, was Mark Taylor in prison because of an individual? Because of an aggressive prosecutor? Because of a police officer who wanted to make a name for himself? No. He found himself in prison because of a system that is designed to guarantee to the maximum extent humanly possible the appropriate administration of justice. From a frontline police officer who investigated, who made an arrest, to a prosecutor, a grand jury, a judge, appellate courts, it is the system in our nation and in our Commonwealth that must be relied upon for the effective administration of justice. The system of unaccountable pardons short circuits the system of justice upon which our citizens rely every day. The bill that sits in front of you today is a constitutional amendment that will be taken to the people of the Commonwealth. That constitutional amendment merely says that for 60 days leading up to a gubernatorial election, and then from the time of the election until the swearing in of either a successive governor or a new governor, the pardon power is not in place. The pardon power will be restricted for 90 days out of a 4-year gubernatorial term. This is a reasonable attempt to ensure that if the power to pardon is executed by a governor, that either that governor or his party must stand in front of an informed electorate who can then decide whether they think that those pardons rise to the level of changing their vote. So, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to belabor this today. There are some of you on this committee who have now voted for this bill 7 different times. And I hope that today we can take a simple and common sense reform to a power that simply goes too far in upending the scales of justice in the Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Herron.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this bill. I am one of the people who have voted yes for this bill in the past, but also always have concerns about the potential chilling effect that it will have on individuals and their abilities to be pardoned. I do have a question, though. The thing that you read about the case, can you identify what governor that was under, what administration?
Absolutely. That was Governor Bevin. And I will say, Senator, that is the nexus of this bill, is some of the egregious things that we saw there. But I can tell you that this crosses party lines. Governors of many parties through many years have been guilty of abuses here. But absolutely, to your point, that was Governor Bevin.
Thank you.
I don't see any other questions. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
Aye.
Senator Herron. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Mills.
Cast my aye vote and explain.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to congratulate the chairman on bringing this bill, for your steadfastness, sticking with it. And we need to vote on this. We need the Commonwealth to vote on this amendment. So thank you.
Senator Rawlings.
Aye.
Senator Tishner. Chair Nemes.
Aye. The bill passes 11-0 unanimously, and since we're not doing consent, and I think you don't want consent, you would like to explain this on the floor anyway, then it passes with favorable expression and should do so on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee.
Okay, at this time, our last one is Senate Bill 51, and I'll ask Co-Chair to take the seat.
As we wait for the senator to take his seat, once you're there, for those of us that may not know who you are, please introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Mike Nemes, Senator from District 38, Bullitt County, and part of South Jefferson County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Nemes. So we will be discussing the last item on the agenda today, Senate Bill 51, and you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the what I call the elderly bill. My wife calls it the geezer bill. But we're trying to help out the elderly that own their own home and are 65 or older and reside in that home. They can't own it or rent it or whatever unless they actually reside in it. And as we know, the assessments have been going up on them, and a lot of people are having income problems on fixed income. We need to help them. We've helped the working class people with the income tax. Well, these elderly people have paid income tax all these years, and now they're not paying income tax. We need to help them also. So what this does, it will freeze the increased assessment after they turn 65. So they will still pay property tax, and they will still pay an increased property tax if the rate goes up. They just won't pay, for instance, if your home is $200,000, when you turn 65 and it goes up to 300,000, you will still pay the tax on the 200,000 and whatever rate it is. You just won't pay on that 100,000 that it went up. And then the tax valuation will go up whenever they sell it, move out of it, go to a hold home, or move in with their children. So now we have a fiscal impact, which I had a discussion with the budget office. So let me explain why there's a fiscal impact, because I said there cannot be a revenue decrease in this. There can't be, because if there isn't an increase in assessments, then there won't be a decrease in this. So let me explain what that means is there, and why they're saying there is. There will not be a revenue decrease from the money came in the year before. There will be a budget revenue decrease on what is budgeted. So I was explaining this to some working people at the coffee shop, and they gave me the glassy eye. So I said, well, let me bring this down to our working person's level. If you make $1,000 a week, $52,000 a year, and you know you're going to make that again next year, and you think you're going to get a pay raise and work some overtime, you're going to make $200 extra a week. So you budget for $1,200 next year. Well, you're still going to make your $50,000, but if you don't get your raise or work the overtime, then you have a budget decrease. You're going to have $200 less a week than what you thought you were going to get. But you still make the same amount. There is no shortfall. You just have less of what you budgeted for. So now, in this instance, you may get your pay raise, let's say it's $19 a week, but the overtime, there's a memo like this bill that says, the company says you won't be getting your overtime. So the budget won't be getting the elder tax increase. So they won't get to $10. They'll still get $90 extra revenue, but not the $20 that they budgeted for. So that $10 is what this represents, this fiscal impact statement. And then another thing is that will be for the first year until the next budget comes out, and they won't budget for an increase, so then there will be no fiscal impact after that. Any questions?
We do have at least one question. Senator Rocky Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And it's not a question, it's a comment, because I've voted on this before, and I really applaud you for your tenacity in continuing to bring it back. And I just want to state that this is probably the number one thing that I get calls and emails about in my district. They say, I've done my job, I've done everything the right way, please stop raising my taxes on my property. So I really appreciate you bringing this again this year, and look forward to voting for it again.
Well, thank you for the comment, and I think that the public has gotten wind of this and are calling, because the House who stopped this, because we passed it 4 years straight, they have stopped it, and now they have 10, 11 copycat bills. So,
Senator, we do have a motion, but in a second. I see Senator Chambers Armstrong is declining to comment. I would like to say, Senator, that I too think this is a very good piece of legislation. I doubt there's anyone on this committee that hasn't been contacted by someone that is having problems paying the additional property tax, as we've seen evaluations of homes skyrocket post-COVID. Their income has not gone up, but their taxes have. And so they're concerned about where does that end and where does that stop? And this bill does stop that. And to your point of these evaluations increasing, most of the time, someone who's over 65, it doesn't matter what it increases to. They're planning to live in that home the rest of their life. So it doesn't matter if it goes from 100,000 to $1 million. That doesn't help them, not one bit. They're probably going to live in that home the rest of their life. I applaud this legislation. I voted for it before, and I'll proudly support it again this time. With no further comments, and a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Chambers Armstrong.
May I explain my I vote, Mr. Chair?
Please proceed.
Thank you. I do wish that this bill was means tested. For example, if it did not apply to homes worth over $1 million or $2 million. However, I recognize that the benefit that this provides, particularly to low-income seniors, is so crucial. I too get emails constantly from people that say, I'm going to have to sell my home or move out of my home because I can't afford the taxes. And we know that for those low-income seniors, home ownership is how they build and transfer wealth to the next generation. And so when we look at those low-income communities, this legislation is particularly important. We also see those taxes going up, especially in those lower income neighborhoods that start to see investment. And so we're really helping to make sure that folks can stay in their community and stay in their home. And so I'm voting yes today. Thank you.
Senator Elkins.
Aye.
Senator Herron. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe.
May I explain my I vote?
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman, for your bringing the bill again this year. I have voted for it the last several years. It is by far the number one conversation in Fayette County around home ownership and taxes, and it's a frustration point for many people, especially our senior adults. And I echo Senator Chambers Armstrong and Senator Rocky Allen. It is a senior adult problem, and for someone who has worked to live in their house, it's personal, and I just appreciate your tenacity. I think that's a great word for it. Thank you.
Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Mills.
Vote aye and explain my vote.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for this bill. I think, we've been talking a lot about housing. A lot of people on this committee have been involved in the housing task force, and I think this is a great complementary piece of legislation, and hopefully the people of Kentucky will get a chance to vote on it. So thank you.
Senator Rawlings.
Aye.
Senator Tishner. Chair Nemes.
Aye.
Looks like the Senate Bill 51 passes with favorable expression. I suppose with no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.